This is Boston Chris of the ETX Rock Show, and this is another great episode of ETX Rocks featuring Holly Joe.
From the unknown to the stars, from the couch to the car, from the unheralded and the unheard, to the legends and beyond, it's where we all belong. Yes, this is where it all starts. From every genre, from every plane, this is where the music's played. So tune right in, won't you bring a friend? This is where it all begins. Welcome to the show, let the music flow of every style and creed. And you can bet your socks that ETX rocks, ETX rocks.
Hey guys, Boston Chris here with the #1 resource for independent music. It's the ETX Rock Show, episode number 290, and we have a huge treat for everybody out there today. As you guys know, the singer-songwriter is just I'm a huge fan of the art of songwriting, and Holly Joe is with us today from Stephenville, Texas.
Yeah.
And I was turned on to your song Rough. Someone sent me the video to that song that you had put on your Facebook. And I was blown away by the song, and just your whole vibe reminds me of like 90s country, and I was a huge 90s country fan.
Okay, me too. So I'm really glad that you said that. Thank you, because that's kind of what I'm going for.
Cool,
I like that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Honestly, when I heard the video, I was like, wow, it's like Leanne Womack. Like,
She's one of my favorites, so that's a huge compliment. Thank
so
you.
she's actually from East Texas. So
I knew she was from Texas, but I didn't know
yeah,
where.
she's from about 20 minutes from here.
Oh, okay.
20 minutes east of here, but yeah, I was like, wow, this is Leanne Womack in Texas again, and so I had to have you. I messaged you, friended you like immediately when I saw this song. And
Yeah, I remember that. Thank you so much for that.
no problem. And so we have Holly Joe on the show, sitting here in the ETX Rocks living room, and she brought her guitar. She's going to play us 3 songs today as part of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the first one is called I Lied.
Yes.
Tell us a bit about the song.
Well, when I very first had the idea for it, it's not based on a true story, because I don't lie. I'm pretty good. You know, maybe a little.
That
white
was a
lie.
lie, y'all.
That's true. Occasionally, everybody does. But I just kind of had this this melody in my head, and I wanted to kind of give it like a Spanish kind of feel, and I was just humming along to it, and the words "I lied," I'm just like, I kept popping up, and so like, I'm gonna write a song about lying and getting over somebody, or telling everybody that you're getting over them
Right.
when you're really not.
Yeah.
And because I think everybody, for the most part, has been through that. I mean, I know I have. Everyone kind of
It's
has that.
wordplay at its finest.
It is, yeah. Everyone kind of has that fake smile. It's like, oh, I'm totally fine, but I'm totally lying through my teeth right now.
Right,
So
right.
that's just kind of where that came from.
The facade that we put on when we're hurting.
Yes,
Just
exactly.
to make so that everybody thinks you're okay, but you're not.
Yeah, yeah. And so, and I wasn't going through that at the time, but I mean, of course, if you've ever been through that, you still have that.
Yeah.
You know how it feels.
Right, you can draw from it.
Yeah, so I kind of
Absolutely.
drew from a past area in my life from a couple of years ago, and
Cool.
yeah, I'm glad with how I like how it turned out.
Cool. And so, guys, for the very first time on the ETX Rock Show, it's I Lied by Holly Joe. Y'all check it out.
Told him I wouldn't miss him at all. I don't love him, I didn't fall for those games he played on
All right, so we are back again. It's episode 290, y'all. 290. We're 10 away from our season finale.
That's so crazy.
And we have Stephenville's own Holly Joe in the studio, or the living room. It's the living room this week. Last week was the studio. This week is the living room.
I really dig the living room, though.
Thank you.
That's cool.
Yeah, our memories and our journey is right here on the wall. We don't hide anything.
I love it, though. I was checking this out earlier, and I mean, you've got some of my friends up here, and you've got a lot of people that I'm just a huge fan of. So that's awesome.
And the first person she mentioned was Cherie Austin, and a lot of people don't even know who Cherie Austin is. So I was super stoked that you knew who she was.
Streets of Heaven,
Yes.
was one of my favorite songs when I was younger, and I mean, it still is to this day. But yeah, I know I'm a huge fan of her as well.
Holly Joe's actually also in radio. She's an independent radio host, right? You do
Yeah, I have a radio show on Texas Homegrown Radio
Yeah.
that I do every Tuesday through Thursday from 2 to 4 p.m.
So you get to see both sides of kind of the music industry.
I do, yeah. It's fun because, I get to go out and sing in the evenings and on the weekends, and then during the week I get to interview other artists
Right.
and play and discover other artists that I like, and I just love it that I can have both
What
sides.
kind of
that.
advantage does that give you as an artist? Like being able to interview other people or spin their records or whatever?
Gosh, there's so many different opportunities that I have. First of all, it helps me because I get to learn about other artists. I get to learn their songs, their songwriting styles, what's really trending with Texas country today,
Right,
stuff
right.
like that. And so I get to, not only meet people through that, but I get to kind of see what direction it's heading from, and who, the fans, like what they like and what they're maybe not liking so much, what's getting requested the most. But really, I've made so many friends through the radio and other musicians, and a lot of musical opportunities have come out of it as well.
Right. And I mean, Texas Homegrown is one of the best internet radio stations in Texas as well. So
I mean,
that
that's
is a
my
plus.
opinion, so
I mean,
thank
she's
you.
biased.
Yeah.
I'm not. So,
Well, thank you.
Absolutely. But Holly Joe, you're working on the debut EP for you.
Yes.
So you've got to be on pins and needles right now.
I'm so excited. I can't wait. I have been looking forward to this for years. And we went up to Nashville in 2016, at the very end of 16, and we recorded Rough, which is available on iTunes and Spotify right now. But
Right.
we're going to be getting a full EP coming hopefully out of Nashville, and should be done in the winter time. I don't know exactly when, December, January,
Right.
around there, but a lot of this, in fact, every song that I'm going to be singing today is going to be on the EP.
Cool.
Yeah.
And guys, Holly Joe's been around a long time. You've been in this music game for over 10 years.
Yeah.
So this is a huge step for you.
It is, and I just cannot wait. I'm so excited to get into the studio and record these songs that mean so much to me, that I've written, throughout the years, and to just be able to have other people listen to them in the
Yeah.
way that because it sounds good acoustic, but to have it the way
Fully
that it is,
produced.
yes,
Yeah.
and the way that I picture it in my head and I can hear it, to have other people be able to hear it the way that I hear it, I'm really excited about that.
So where did this road start for you? Like just the road to music?
So, my parents, I was born and raised in Arizona, and my parents rodeoed. My dad did, he was a team
Okay,
roper.
yeah.
And so I grew up singing the national anthem at a lot of rodeos, which is the Reba start.
Yeah. Yep.
But I did that, and I sang at some rodeo dances, and I was 12 when I first started singing professionally, and I would just join different bands and sit in with them at, like I said, rodeo dances, bars, restaurants, wherever I could. I was the girl that'd be like, "Can I get up on stage and sing, please?"
Yeah.
And
just any chance you get to sing.
yes, yeah, and it worked out. I turned some heads at a young age, and so I had some different bands that allowed me to come up and kind of travel with them, with my parents, and sing during their sets. And I remember being like 13 and 14 and staying up until like 10 or 11 at the bars. Sometimes they'd kick us out. Sometimes
Yeah.
they wouldn't if my parents were there. But
Right.
doing that until I got my own band when I was about 18, I think, after high school. And I did that for about a year, and I loved it.
And this was still in Arizona.
Yes, this was in Arizona. I moved to Stephenville and to Texas in 2014 for the first time, and stayed there for a little under a year went back home to Arizona, and then just got back to Texas, still in Stephenville.
Yeah.
It's been about a year since I've been back.
Cool. So, as music fans out there, you probably know that as a young artist, you have basically two choices in country music, and that's Nashville or Texas.
Yeah.
You chose Texas.
I did. I was still debating on what I wanted to do. I was saving up money. I was 19, and I was working at a bar in my hometown, saving up money, and I'm like,
Right.
I'm either going to move to Nashville or Texas. And originally, I knew somebody in Nashville that I was going to go out there with, and I didn't know anybody in Texas. And it didn't work out, but I think that it was for the best. And instead of Nashville, I used my money and moved out to Texas, and I'm so thankful that I did.
So what was your mind? What was kind of your mindset in that decision process? Because it's got to be, that is a tough choice nowadays. Because I mean, Texas is a lot of good things are happening in Texas, but Nashville is the home of country music. So what was the plan for Holly Joe?
Well, my plan has changed a bunch since I was 12,
Right.
multiple times. Of course, when you're young, especially in Arizona, there's not a music scene like there is in Texas. I mean, really nowhere else,
Right.
maybe other than Nashville, is there a music scene like Texas. And so I didn't really know about it growing up. So, of course, I had always thought I was going to be in Nashville because that was the place.
Yep.
And then as I got older, I did start hearing more about Texas, and I liked a lot of the people that were coming out of it, and people that were being played on like GAC and CMT on TV that I would see mainstream that I
Were
didn't even
from
realize
Texas.
were
Yeah.
from Texas.
Yeah.
And then once I found that out, I was like, that makes a lot of sense. But the more I thought about it and I wanted to go to Nashville, the more music that was coming out of Nashville, and then the more music that I heard that was coming out of Texas, it just fit my personal style more. The Texas music
Yeah,
scene did.
right.
So I'm like, all right, I'm going to check out Texas, and then I'll go to Nashville after maybe a summer or something. And I ended up just staying here.
Just staying here.
And I loved it. And, I'm not going to say, never say never. Nashville might be in the cards someday, but right
Right.
now I am just absolutely loving where I am.
And I'm sure Texas is proud to have you as well. Excuse me. Now, if you're watching or listening from outside the state of Texas, you may not know that independent music is king in the state of Texas. King and queen, honestly. It's there are major label artists that come out of Texas, and all of those artists are really, really good. But for the most part, the independent music scene in Texas is beyond anything anywhere else. And just for example, for a lot of years, female artists have really had a hard time being noticed on the Texas music scene, especially in country music. But I'm looking at the charts today alone, and to see all the girls that are on the charts today in Texas, and I'm not going to name names, they're all on the wall, I promise. That's going to be really encouraging for an artist like yourself.
It is. And like I said, I'm pretty new to the scene, and I've been lucky enough that I've been welcomed with pretty open arms, not being from Texas originally. But I've heard about the struggles that a lot of artists, female artists that have come before me have had. And my friends that are female artists out here have told me how hard it is. But I'm just so proud of everyone because they are kicking ass
Yeah,
right now.
they
I don't
are.
know if I can say that, but
Absolutely.
they are. And it does gives me a lot of hope to know that, they've kind of paved the way throughout the years so that artists like myself that are up and coming right now
Yep.
can go and do what we
And
want
you
to
don't
do.
have to be from Texas.
really don't.
Look at Brie Bagwell. She's from
New Mexico. Yeah, and Las
And
Cruces.
killing it here. Absolutely killing it.
Yeah.
5-time female vocalist of the year in Texas. Like 5
She's
straight
amazing.
years. Try taking that award from her. Like, what? That's crazy. And like I said, from New Mexico, good friend to the show here, and she's been on several times, and she'll be on again in a couple months. But
Yeah, it's exciting.
she's killing it, and you got Kenna Danielle and Adrian Johnston and Holly Tucker and Sarah Hobbs, and all these girls are just making room for
Yes.
the female in Texas, and it's super exciting to see.
It's the girl power.
Absolutely. It's been a lot of years since the girls have been shown any love in Texas, I feel. And
We're taking it over,
yeah,
man.
it's finally happening.
Yes.
And we've been a huge champion for the female Texas artists since day one on the show. So as a fan to that, it's super exciting to see all the girls on the charts. Just today when I checked, so Holly Joe's going to be among them very, very shortly, I'm sure.
Hopefully, yes, that's the plan.
So again, going back to your early days and your '90s feel in your music, where did that come from? What were you listening to as a youngster that resonated with you so much that is still present in your music now?
Well, so I said before that my family rodeoed, my dad did, and so I mean he took us all over. Basically, any place that he was driving to or that he had a rodeo, the entire family would hop in and go with him. And so we listened to a lot of music on the road. And I mean, there was always George Strait, I remember, and a lot of even going back from that. Older than that, we listened to a lot of like Waylon Jennings and Merle Haggard. Patsy Cline was huge. But then
Who's in charge of the dial?
My dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Occasionally, maybe somebody else might be able to sneak in a request or two, but I mean, everybody liked what he picked anyway, so it was pretty good. Yeah.
Way to go, Dad.
Yeah, he's going to get a big head from this, but but no, he picked good music. But then we also listened to a lot of classic rock, like Bob Seger was huge. I would say like George Strait and Bob Seger are probably like the two biggest influences I had growing up.
Yeah.
And the Eagles, Fleetwood Mac, Stevie Nicks, things like that. And so growing up, that's what I, not was forced to listen to, but just what I listened to from my parents. And then when I got to, elementary school and middle school and I could start picking what I wanted to listen to, it was pretty much the same thing, but I loved the 90s country. It was my very favorite. And especially now that a lot of music doesn't sound like that anymore, that was just...
It's making a comeback, though.
It is. I'm really happy about it because that's
same.
what, I want to do, and that's the kind of sound that I like so much. A mix between, like, 90s country and then, like, that cool 70s, 80s country, like the Emmylou Harris and kind of rock like Linda Ronstadt, just the badass females.
I hear a lot of, like, the early 2000s in your stuff, too, like the Gretchen Wilson kind of vibe to your, like, almost angsty kind of feel to your music.
I like that. Thank you. That's a compliment for me. I like, because, I am country, but I like to have that, like, little power rock
a little
as well.
edge in there.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with a little bite.
Speaking about that edge, as a songwriter, there's an evolution process within an artist. There's first I'm assuming first you're a vocalist, you're singing the national anthem, stuff like that. Somewhere along the line you pick up an instrument, whether it's a guitar or piano, whatever the instrument is. In your case, it's the guitar. So the natural progression there is songwriting. So when you're first coming into that creativity, what are you drawing on for inspiration there?
At first, there was not a lot of inspiration. I started writing songs when I was 16, 17. The very first song I ever wrote, I was about 15 or 16, and it was called George Strait and Jesus. And it was really just about, you can definitely tell that a young person wrote it because there's not a lot of life experience there. It was just about, my two favorite men, George Strait and Jesus. And but I wrote that, and then So
when Rich O'Toole's version of that song came out.
Yes, you know what? I will say, I love Rich. He is my friend. But I showed him George Strait and Jesus, which was my song. And he's like, oh, that's such a cool song. And then like 3 years later, he came out with that one. And I'm just like, okay.
God and George Strait.
I know.
Yeah. Where's Holly Joe's third, Rich? Come on.
I know. Come on, buddy. No, I'm just kidding. That is a good song, though. He did a really good job on that.
Absolutely is.
So that was the first song that I ever wrote. But then it was hard at first because I'm like, this is crap. All of the songs that I'm coming out with, I've never had my heart broken. I'd never really been on a lot of dates or had a boyfriend at the time, and just not a lot of life experience. And then, as you get older and, you have these life experiences and you do get your heart broken, and it's funny because I always told everybody, I'm like, I want to get my heart broken. Like, I want to have, be really sad and stuff.
Spoken like a songwriter.
Yes.
I want to get my heart broken.
And everybody's like, no, you don't. Trust me, you don't. I'm like, I don't, but I do. I need to get something going. Like, I want to be in love. And I ended up getting my heart broken a lot. So never be careful what you wish for. But a lot of really great songs came out of that. And it's funny because I always thought I would never be able to write love songs.
Yeah.
I'm not a big love song person. And I wrote my very first love song in December of last year. At 24 years old.
Wow.
That's the very first time I ever wrote a love song.
9 years later.
Yes, yeah. So, I mean, I definitely got the heartbreak songs and the cheating songs done, and then, like, okay, it's time to write a love song, so.
So that self-inflection process when you're younger, like, oh my God, all these songs are crap, right? You're thinking to yourself about yourself. When you finally do write a song that you care about, what is that like, internally?
It is the coolest feeling for me because I remember there was a song that I wrote called Lipstick and Whiskey, and I was like 18, and it was not from a personal experience. It was about a woman that got her heart broken, though, and she, instead of, crying at home, she's like, forget you, I'm going to put on some lipstick and go out and drink some whiskey and have fun and show you what you're missing. And so it kind of just came to me out of thin air in a way. I just, I had no context behind it. And so I wrote that, and I remember it happened so fast. I think I finished it in about half an hour. It just came out. And I remember sitting there looking at it because I had written it down, and I was like, oh my gosh, I think this one actually might be pretty good. And I was so excited. And so I picked up the guitar, which I barely knew how to play at that point. I mean, I was struggling with it, but I played it a few times. I tried to get some chords, and I showed it to my parents, and they were both home, and I was like, you guys, I think I wrote a good song. And of course, your parents, even if it's not
they're going to
good,
love
they're
it.
like, oh, that's
they
the
love
best.
George Strait and
Yes,
Jesus, too.
yes.
Yeah.
And so, but they're like, oh man, that's so good. And I ended up recording it for my very first demo when I was 17. And the guy that was recording it, he's like, that's a good song. I was like, okay, cool. So I'm like outside validation.
So it's not just me.
Yeah, no, it's not just me. And so I'm so proud of myself. It's like acing a test that you were so sure that you were going to fail or something like that. I mean, it's like your baby.
Yeah.
And I've never really understood that until I started writing songs more and more. And then you have these ones that you just love so much, and it's so personal. And you're like, these are my little babies.
So between George Strait and Jesus and Lipstick and Whiskey, there was 2 or 3 years. So I imagine you're dabbling in writing and not really feeling any of the songs you're writing.
I wasn't. At the time, I was just singing in bands, and songwriting wasn't super important to me then. I did a lot of cover songs, and, because I found not a lot of people outside of Texas, but, when you're going and singing in bars, they don't really care about original songs that I've seen anyway. I mean, they just want to hear Freebird, and not that there's anything wrong with that, but I mean, they go to drink and have fun. And, you're the live jukebox.
Right.
And so I never felt the need to actually write songs, and I didn't have any, like I said, life experience, and nothing that I needed to get out, that was being held inside of me that I felt like I needed to get out. And then once I started getting older and, more things started to happen to me, then songwriting became more important just as an outlet. And then, especially when I moved to Texas, it kind of shocked me. I'm like, okay, everybody out here, they care about your originals.
Expect it here. That's right.
Important, yeah. And you can't just go by on covers, and you can be good, but if you sing everybody else's songs, no one's going to care. And so that's in 2014. I really was like, all right, I need to start writing some songs. And so I sat down and put pen to paper and wrote, and I haven't stopped writing.
And you're writing some incredible stuff now.
Thank you.
Really, really good stuff. You guys are going to see a song coming up next in a few minutes. It's just ridiculously good. I can't wait for everybody to hear it. But one of the things I really wanted to talk to you about today as well, I'd be remiss without mentioning it because I talk about it all the time on the show, is social media and the power of social media. And if you use it correctly, what it can do for you as an artist. And Holly Joe has this figured out big time. So I wanted to talk to you about your social media, the way you use your Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and your YouTube, not only to get your original music out there, but to pick out certain covers to reach your fan base. So I want to know what your strategy is with your Facebook and your social media in general.
Well, thank you very much for the compliment. I appreciate it. I agree with you. Social media is super important, and it's just a way to connect to people that you wouldn't normally find. I mean, and so I used to do a thing, and I'm still getting back into it right now, called Fan Pick Friday, where every Friday I did a cover song that somebody would write in and ask me to do, and I would learn it, and hopefully I'd find one that I already knew or kind of sort of
Right.
knew, and so I'd play that for them, and it was cool because, you know, I would give them a shout out, whoever it was, and so they would share it and their friends would share it, and then it would just became bigger.
Yep.
And every week I just got more and more views from it, which was awesome. And then I started thinking that I wanted to do more originals as well. So every time I would write an original song, I would, within like 2 or 3 days, I would get it down and I would record it. That way they could just, you know, have as many originals.
It's all about the shareable content.
It really
It
is.
has to be shareable.
The more things that you have for people to share, and the more things that people relate to and they're interested in, it's going to grow so fast. I think I've gained over 1,000 followers just in the past few months, just by posting, changing from what I wanted to post to what I think that my fans and my followers
Yep.
would want to
Yep.
see, and what they're going to relate to more than what I relate to.
Super smart. And there's so many people missing the boat on social media today, whether you're old school or extremely new school, because Facebook is somewhere in the middle there. It's not old school, it's not new school, because Instagram is kind of the new school thing right now, and
Yeah.
Snapchat. And Facebook, a lot of the younger crowd will say, oh, that's for old people. No, it's not.
Everybody's on there.
Yeah.
My age range is from, 14-year-olds all the way up to
70.
70s.
Yep,
Yes.
yep.
And it's cool. So, it's cool, but it's tricky because you do have to find that fine line of how am I going to appeal to a 15-year-old girl and a 70-year-old man.
Exactly. And the thing is, I've been following you for a short amount of time, I feel, like 3 or 4 months. But I look forward to your posts.
Thank you.
And so as a fan of yours, I know that there's got to be a huge block of people that are waiting for the next Holly Joe post. And it's not just because of the music, it's because of your personality, the way you work the camera. All of that is part of that dynamic of you. The way you pick the songs, even if it's not fan-picked. Like your YouTube is great because it's cover song, original. It's almost like you're like, all right, I'm going to draw them in with this Reba song so that they're forced to listen to I Lied when I feel like posting I Lied.
Yeah, and I found that does work because,
Yeah.
I mean, you can, but I mean, just
the same
doing
as a live
originals,
show, isn't
they're
it?
not gonna. Yeah, it
Yeah.
is because I mean, they'll turn your head. It happened the other day. Somebody requested a song because I asked them. I was like, "Okay, guys, what do you want to hear now? Just name a song, and if I know it, I'll play it." And somebody requested "Strawberry Wine," and so I sang it. And then immediately after that, I did an original song, and they were still paying attention, and they
Yep.
still. And so it works. You
Yep.
know, whatever you got to do to keep them on the line.
You did Goodbye Time one week.
Yes.
And oh my God. Good Lord.
That's one of my favorite songs.
Jesus. So good. And I won't lie, I mean, very infrequently do I see a video that I have to show her. And within 3 minutes of watching that video, I was in the bedroom. Baby, check this
Aw.
out. Just incredible vocals on that song.
Thank you.
I think you're extremely smart with what you're doing on social media. Honestly, you should find a way of helping other artists with that.
I have to give credit to my manager, Kelsey. She is so incredible with that. And because I was struggling to try and find that right, way to connect with everybody. And so she came on board on my team and started helping me with that. And we do it together. And she has just been incredible. So, if there's anybody that does want help like that, I mean, we can.
Super smart.
Yes.
And it's working for you, and it can work for anybody. I mean, you're almost to 5,000 likes on Facebook, which is...
Yes, we're so close. And
Yeah.
then our Instagram following has been growing a lot every day. And so it's really exciting to see. I actually look forward to checking the numbers every day just to see if they've
And
gone
it's
up or
just
not.
about that consistency. It's not just about the talent. It's about being consistent with your social media, not letting it get stagnant, making sure your content is shareable. Because just posting a picture of you in the studio is not shareable. Your fans are not going to say, oh, I want to share that because that's cool. Your family might, but your fans are not. Well, you have to reach your fans on a more personal level than just a picture.
Yeah.
And sometimes the video, even if it's a live video, is that way to connect. And, you know, it takes effort for somebody to hit the share button, even if it's 30 seconds of effort. Most people are just going to be like, well, that was cool, but, you know, and scroll.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, exactly. I feel the same way because there's not a lot of things that I share. It has to be really meaningful for me to share.
I shared the hell out of Goodbye Time. Let me tell you
Thank
what.
you. I saw that. I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
All right, so I did mention an incredible song that I heard for the first time today. It's called Time Will Tell. And this is a killer song.
Thank you.
Tell us about it.
Well, I wrote it a few years back, and it's funny because I ended up not playing it for a while after I had written it, and it just
Very
kind
personal.
of it is really personal. At the time, it was the most personal song I had ever written because I had never. It was the first time I had gotten my heart broken because I had had relationships in the past,
Which you
where-
wished for.
Yes, I did, and it's one of those things where be careful what you wish for. It got that song out of it, and it was worth it. But in the past, I had always broken up with relationships and stuff, so I wasn't very upset about it. And then that first time when they break up with you and you're not expecting it, I mean, it's just horrible. And so everyone just kept telling me, just give it time. And of course, that's what you don't want to hear. You're just like, I am going to strangle you if you say that one
Yeah.
more time.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, maybe time will tell. I guess we'll just have to see. And I was like, that's a good song. That'd be a good idea. And so I sat down and wrote that song the summer that we got together, or the summer that we broke up, excuse me. And I just kind of did it in the setting of the future, to where how I hoped this relationship would be in a few years, to where I'm not so brokenhearted about it. Time has kind of healed it a little bit. He's moved on, which is funny because he has, but which we both have. But it's just interesting to see from that perspective, and then also going back, because it had been a few years since I'd written it, and then listening to it again and being like, all right, well, it kind of came true.
Yeah.
We're both doing fine, and I'm still on the road, and he's married now, and it's
Right.
just interesting how that kind of was foreshadowed.
So you were predicting the future.
I was, and it's exactly, I'm going to sit down and write it in the future, term, like how I hope it's going to end
Yeah.
up, and that is how it ended up.
Really, really cool stuff. And here on the ETX Rock Show, we're trying to convince Holly Joe that this is single material
Yeah.
right here. So what I want you all to do, I want you to listen to the song. If you feel like this is something you want to hear on the radio, comment down below and let's show Holly Joe that this song needs to be on the radio. This is a killer song, y'all. It's called Time Will Tell by the one and only Holly Joe. Y'all check it out.
We used to talk for hours on the phone. We spent the summers of our youth out on the road. Attached to the hill, causing trouble
All right, so we are back. That was Time Will Tell by Holly Joe. Again, I want you guys to comment down below if you think that should be on the radio and be her next single, which I
Yeah.
personally think would be a great idea.
Hey, I appreciate any and all advice and help and comments. So yeah, that would be great.
So comment down below, single or no? Single or no? Do it. We're not talking about her relationship status either. We don't talk about that on the ETX Rock Show. You guys know that. You can ask her in private.
Yeah, message me. I'm just kidding.
But yeah, we have Holly Joe here for the first time on the ETX Rock Show. It's episode 290. And if people are hearing about you for the first time, where can they follow along with you?
They can find me on all social media platforms under Official Holly Joe.
Okay.
And that's on Facebook, that's on Twitter, Instagram. I'm on iTunes, I'm on Spotify, Amazon Music, all of those places, and officialhollyjoe.com.
Yeah, and that's HOLLYJO.
J-O. Everyone wants to put an E at the end of
Yeah.
it. I'm like, that's a man's
No,
name.
Don't do that. Don't be that person.
I don't know what you're going to find if you look up Holly Joe with an E
Yeah.
at the end
Don't.
of it.
Yeah. Whew.
Don't be that person.
It could be like some kind of like joint Facebook account, you know?
Yeah. And they probably won't sing, so.
No, not at all. And we'll put do you have a website as well? Or?
Yeah, it's in the process, so by the time that this is released, it should be up and going. It's
And
going
that's
to be...
officialhollyjoe.com, right? Cool. So we'll put a link in the description below for the official website. I'm sure your social media links will be included in that.
Yes.
And again, as we mentioned in the show, this is a great follow here. Her social media is fire all the time. So you need to check that out. Holly Joe is also a huge part of Texas Homegrown Radio. So I want you to tell folks about your radio show and when and where they can tune in.
Yeah, so you can download the Vocal app, VOKAL, and we are live on there 24/7. And then we are also on our own app, Texas Homegrown Radio, if you want to get that one as well. But I do my show from Tuesday to Thursday from 2 to 4 p.m. Texas time. And on Thursday nights from 8 to 10 Texas time, I do a live broadcast, and it's a song swap with different artists every week.
And is that right out of Stephenville as well?
Yes, it's a Twisted J in Stephenville.
Nice, very cool. So live performances even on the Holly Joe Show. Is it called the Holly Joe Show?
It's called the Holly Joe Show, and then for our Thursday nights, it's the Texas Homegrown Showcase.
Nice. So make sure you're checking that out as well. It's Texas Homegrown Radio, one of the most awesome internet radio stations here in Texas. And tune in, you'll know why. They support all the Texas country music
Yes.
artists on that radio station, internet radio as well. Make sure you're requesting the brand new single from Holly Joe as well. It's called Rough.
Yes.
And we're going to put her live performance of that song here at the end of the episode if you want to check that out. Not everybody gets to see that on our social media, so we included it at the very end.
Okay.
So you'll see a live unplugged version of the new single there. If you want to hear the fully produced one, though, you're going to have to call your radio station and get that sucker played, even if you live in Iceland.
Yeah, really, anywhere.
Yeah,
You can get
anywhere. Iceland, Timbuktu,
Greenland.
Jakarta.
Yeah.
That's a place.
I don't even know where it is, but
I
I'm
don't either.
sure that they would request
I
it.
read it in a book somewhere. I'm sure it's real. Google it! All right.
I am going to Google it now, though, actually.
She's going to get out in the car and be like, Jakarta.
It's a real place.
It's in Indonesia. Okay. Really is, too. Also, if you tuned into the ETX Rock Show for the first time, we want to thank you for spending some time with us today. With Holly Joe's first appearance on the show. It won't be the last. Maybe we'll have her back when the record is out.
Yes, I'd love to.
Yeah, let's do that. Again, it's officialhollyjoe.com. That'll be in the description below. Follow her everywhere on social media. I say it every show. You don't know how much it supports an artist just by hitting like or follow or subscribe. You didn't mention the YouTube channel as well, but Official Holly Joe on YouTube as well. You're going to see like 30 some odd videos on there, from covers to originals.
Yeah, it gets updated just about every week.
Yeah, it's a super cool YouTube channel. We subscribe, so you should too. Make sure you do that. It's completely free. Why wouldn't you do it? Also, if you're hearing about us for the first time, you can follow along with us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at ETX Rocks. We had to shut down the MySpace page.
Wow. I'm impressed that you guys made it this long on MySpace.
No,
though.
we really didn't. Never had one. Just wanted to see.
I
what you
still
would
have a
say.
MySpace page floating around somewhere.
Yeah, we just post our cat videos on there.
That's what MySpace is for.
Is it?
I don't know. I'm
I don't know
assuming.
either.
It's been a while.
Yeah, for real. Also, if you're listening on audio, we are also located over there on the YouTube in high definition video.
The YouTube.
You'll get
Oh.
to see my beard.
It's pretty impressive.
Thank you, Holly Joe. Thank you very much. I love the outfit today.
Thank you. I got dressed up just for you guys today. I got
She's
my
too
pants.
sweet.
Thank you. My two favorite colors.
The turquoise.
Yes, the turquoise and the yellow.
I love turquoise.
Me too.
And your guitar strap is the same color.
Yes, it's black and turquoise with my initials on it, and I have a thing for arrows, and this was custom made for me by Kyle Roberts for Christmas.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I've always been a turquoise fan.
Me too.
I don't know why. Maybe it's I
beautiful.
grew up by the ocean, so maybe
Oh
that's
yeah,
what it
that
is.
would work. Yeah.
Yeah, probably why.
Turquoise waters.
You never know where these monologues are going to go, folks. You just never know. We're talking about fashion here. People are probably going to comment, Boston Chris in fashion, what's going on?
I'd love to see you in a pair of mustard yellow pants.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do
Well,
it.
we'll swap outfits.
Well, you know, I was just in a music video in a onesie.
I definitely need to hear this story.
Yeah, September 18th. I'll tag you in it.
Okay,
Yeah.
yes, please do.
It's a rap video. It really happened, guys. It's going to be out soon, I promise. I've been talking about it forever.
That's
But
amazing.
yeah, it's going to be out soon. But yeah, I'll show it to you. It was badass. It was like a baboon onesie or something.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
It's pretty cool. That'll be the only time I ever wear it, ladies and gentlemen.
But it's going to be documented on the internet.
And
forever.
the internets.
The internets,
Yeah.
yes. Internets.
Yep. So definitely check us out on YouTube, and while you're there, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the little bitty bell that YouTube has added for notifications as well. Hit both of those. That'll help us in more ways than you can ever imagine. The biggest support you can have for us is on the YouTube channel. Also hit the like and follow button everywhere, iTunes, iHeartRadio, wherever you are listening. That'll help us a lot. Also, we are completely self-funded on the ETX Rock Show, which means we are low budget, and I emphasize the word low. We are in a double-wide trailer at the end of a dead-end road using Walmart lamp trees for professional lighting. So help a brother out. You can do that over at www.paypal.me/ETXRocks. And today only we will take anywhere from a dime to $1,000.22.
All right.
Today only. Nothing more than that. So if you were like, hey, today I was going to do 1,100, sorry, we can't do that. Yeah, we can. Yeah, we can. So hook a brother up. It's because of y'all's support out there that we were recently able to launch a brand new website over at www.etxrocks.show. And I say that we're the #1 resource for independent music in Northeast Texas. And really, the website is proof of that. We have almost 11,000 hours of music content on there.
Wow.
From live videos to performances in the living room, outside the living room, from folks you know to folks you don't. I mean, we're talking Ronnie Millsap, Daryl Dodd, Joe Nichols, just huge names have been here on the show, as well as folks that we're trying to show you guys for the first time. If you're a music fan and you're interested in learning new music, new artists, that's the place to do it. ETXRocks.show, not .com. Those folks, no.
Don't be that guy.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. That's my line, but I'll let her keep it this time. Don't be that guy or girl. ETXRocks.show. And we definitely thank you guys for tuning in over there as well. And as we always say on the ETX Rock Show, we want to thank you guys out there for always supporting live music of all genres and all styles. And don't ever forget,
ETX rocks.
that's right.
It's the burn in your throat from the gym, babe. It's the way that your hands used to touch me. It's the bartender cutting you off. It's gonna be rough. It's the morning after the downfall, the pain in your head from the alcohol, and setting in of a good love lost.
From the unknown to the stars, from the couch to the car, from the unheralded and the unheard, to the legends and beyond, it's where we all belong. Yes, this is where it all starts. From every genre, from every plane, this is where the music's played. So tune right in, won't you bring a friend? This is where it all begins. Welcome to the show, let the music flow, of every style and creed. And you can bet your socks that ETX rocks.